Hello, I'm Brian Griffith. I'm the Associate Regional Director for the Capital Region. Growing up, high school, I felt like it was a bunch of boxes that everyone wanted me to check off. A lot of my friends, especially my friends, I had this expectation that I'd be fearless when really I was scared to death, because adolescence is scary. That I'd be the life of the party, and I would try to be that. But also I was just so bored. Gained popularity, and at the same time, there was this time in my life where it felt like very few people, maybe even no one, really knew me. That's where my Young Life leader came in. I don't know how he did it, but when I was around Pat Hurley, a college student in my town, it felt like someone was really listening to me, someone was hearing me, understanding me, asking questions, and just knew me. I look back and I would say my favorite memory with Pat was sitting outside on this beautiful night after club, and Pat shared the gospel with me. He told me about Jesus, and he told me that Jesus' incredible love was for me. And something about that moment, those words just sunk into my heart and changed my life forever. Those moments happen often in Young Life, and we try not to take them for granted. Just last week, Andrew, staff associate in Central Fairfax at Robinson, shared this incredible story where at the end of it, a guy that he's built a friendship with at Robinson High School came up to Andrew, gave him a hug and said, "Thank you, you've changed my life forever." Profound words, and true words. Just a week or two ago, Ben Gallagher, area director, leads at Lake Braddock, shared a really simple but absolutely wonderful story. They had a kickball game outside, just getting to be kids, building relationships, and after kickball, kids lined up on the bleachers at a local park, and Ben told them a story about Jesus. A week later, a kid who was at that kickball hangout for the first time approached Ben and said, "I've been thinking all week what you said about Jesus, and I can't stop thinking about it." We get surprised when we hear that, but maybe we shouldn't be surprised. Of course, kids can't stop thinking about Jesus. He's who they were created for, and they're not told about him enough. The gospel is too important. And that's why the work that they're doing all throughout Central Fairfax is some of the most important work, maybe the most important work going on in the community. And so the gospel's not shared enough. I think it's also just not enjoyed enough. It is good news. One of the things I love about Young Life is that adolescents get to be together in these communities of peers to explore and talk about and figure out who this Jesus is together. I had an old campaigner kid, a Young Life kid, call me last week. She's graduated college, is now a teacher, and she was sharing the great news that she's getting married. And we were just going down memory lane, talking about stories as a leader when she would do contact work. And there was a group of girls at the school that she did Young Life at, and they needed a cheerleading coach. And she had never done cheerleading a day in her life, but she showed up. And as she was there, she quickly realized she was not going to be very helpful to this cheerleading squad. So she texted some friends and some friends who were cheerleaders in high school, sent her videos, and there she stood in front of a group of cheerleaders and said, "Watch this video, this picture, and do what they say." And it was just a picture, but it's exactly what they needed and didn't have. And they started to learn the routines. And that's what she would do every day. Show up with a new video of what they could practice and how to put these routines together. Well, as we were going down memory lane more, I remembered when she was in high school. and when I asked the campaigners, group of about 30, 40 students, I said, any of you just need prayer right now? Any of you, any way we can just encourage each other? And the same kid raised her hand and with tears in her eyes said, this is the 1-year anniversary of my mom's death. And I'm just really struggling. In leading that meeting, I didn't have to say a word, but I just watched upperclassmen football players, freshman kids on the robotics team, some of her closest friends in her neighborhood. Each of these kids started to stand up, and they walked around her and they just started praying for her. They need a picture. Kids are showing up saying, we just need someone to hold up a picture, to give us some type of instruction, to give us some type of idea of what this life with Jesus really looks like. And is it real? Does it really change anything? And just like this kid held up a picture for the cheerleading squad to follow, that's what we needed, now we got it. There's tons of kids who are showing up to campaigners or hallways in their school or opening up their computer for virtual classes, and they just know they need a picture of Jesus. And if someone could just hold it up, they'd say, I got it. And so they come in these communities, these times of fellowship, led by leaders who are investing and showing up in their lives. And it just helps things click. They get to experience it. They're not just hearing the gospel. They get to enjoy it. And then one of the best parts is they go into their friendships and relationships at home, at school, sports teams, and they get to share it. That's what we get to be a part of. That's what kids are asking and begging us to show up and do. And I love that it's happening. Ben, Andrew, they're volunteers. They're heroes in our community. I have younger kids, 10 and 7 years old. I pray that when they get to high school, that they'll have someone like Chelsea, Jackie, Andrew, these people showing up in their lives. That they'll have a Michael Deck who cares enough to listen, who will tell them the truth, who will help them navigate this really strange, difficult, crazy world. And that as tricky as it is to be a teenager, to tell them that there's this God that's in complete control, that sees them, that knows them, that they'll paint a picture of Jesus that kids need. And that as they listen to the scripture, as they see and watch these leaders move and live their life and live out their own faith, they'll say, that's the picture I needed. And I get it. And I want Jesus. That change, it's not just something that happens in 4 years of high school. When kids meet Jesus and they grow in their faith, it changes the rest of their life. There'll be different types of sons and daughters, I hope. Different types of friends and college students. But there'll be different business owners and doctors, different fathers and mothers, husbands and wives. Their life will look different, and they'll make the world different for eternity. So that's what we're talking about tonight. That's what each of us get to be a part of. It wasn't just my Young Life leader that helped change my life forever. See, Young Life is not just the staff. It's not even just the staff and volunteers. Young Life has to be owned by the community. There's a group of folks all around, the staff and volunteers, who make this ministry go. And Young Life Central Fairfax is all of ours. It's our kids, our community, and it's our ministry. So I want to invite you to be a part of it. And I think so many adults would love to be a part of this, love being a part of transforming this generation of kids. And honestly, as a parent myself, it's just hard to know how to. So I want to spend the next 60 seconds to hold up a picture And hopefully it's a picture that you view as an invitation of what you need and the instructions that you can be a part of to help change kids' lives. The first thing is if you have the gift of time. If you have the gift of time just to volunteer as a Young Life leader or to volunteer on the Young Life Committee, a group of adults that rally around the staff and volunteer leaders. If you're a person that prays, will you please pray with us? Ben and Andrew in the committee can add you to the prayer list so you can know what's going on in the ministry and specific ways to pray for kids in all the schools in Central Fairfax. If you have the gift of networking, if you're a connector, Ben, Andrew, the committee, we would love to continue to build even more church partnerships, business sponsors, and other fundraising events that we have throughout the year, even just people who care about kids. Hearing about Jesus. And another way that I'm going to invite you right now to participate, to partner with this ministry to make it strong so it can thrive and grow, would you consider giving financially? Young Life in Central Fairfax, it exists, and it's healthy, and it's growing because of really generous people who rally around, who give in sacrificial ways. Will you join us in that? I'm inviting. I personally am a donor to Central Fairfax because I believe what they do. And I have insider knowledge. I know the gift and the talent of staff that you have. I know the volunteer leaders and the hours that they pour into this community. I know that it is a wise investment. I also know that it's one that's really rich and rewarding. Young Life Central Fairfax is making a difference, and you're a part of that. You're on tonight's call, part of tonight, not because you like trivia. I know it's because you care about kids too. So let's keep running after them together. Thank you. We're really grateful for you.
Well, hey, at this time, we would love to give you just a few minutes to consider what it would look like for you to partner with us financially in our important work with kids. But before I give you instructions, I just want to take a second and to say, if you are one of our current donors of Young Life Central Fairfax, thank you. It's because of your giving and your generosity that we're able to do what we do in the lives of kids. And now at this time, if you're at a watch party, your host is going to pass out a pledge card. And if you're at home, a QR code and a URL are going to come up on your screen, and that will link you directly to our secure giving site. And we want to give you a few minutes to consider what it would look like for you to give tonight. We're also going to send a follow-up email at the end of this event, and that will have more detailed giving instructions, and will also give you an opportunity to reach out to us if you would like to have a follow-up conversation before you make that decision. So we're going to give you a few minutes until the end of this video, and then we'll see you in just a bit for our final round of trivia. Thanks.
Like it's Christmas Day. Sing me a song, sing me a melody, sing out loud your symphony. I want you to live forever underneath the sky so blue. I want you to live forever underneath the sky so blue. Take courage when the road is long. Don't ever forget you are never sky so blue.